My name is Benji Feinberg. I'm the CEO of Cedar Money. We spoke about the good and the bad and the future in technology in Nigeria. For me, the most exciting part is the future. The bad, of course, is not exciting, but there is bad in anything. Their life has a balance between good and bad. Nothing's all good. But for me, the exciting part is the future because there's a big opportunity, for change in a good way with technology. So we're in a field of international payments. We do international payments, and we're optimizing payments between countries for regulated financial institutions and for importers and exporters. And we're tackling a bigger problem, which is international payments. The funny thing about international payments business is you like the ship that's on the ocean. When a person, I'll give you an analogy like this. When a person buys, goods from China to Nigeria, it goes on a ship for, 2 months until it arrives in Nigeria. That ship that takes it for 2 months, in the world of payments, that's us. Meaning we're not in Nigeria, we're not necessarily in China, but we're facilitating the movement between two points on your corridor. So that's where we are. So we're doing that, of course, globally. Nigeria is a very interesting market for us, and that's why I'm here, and that's why we've started working here. As we build out the nodes on our corridors, this is a very important node for us, just given the size, and it's a gateway to the whole of Western Africa, I'd say. So it's a big node for us. I think there's an opportunity for a big change because there's new technologies that are coming into the market that are revolutionary. And I like to always use the analogy of telecommunications or cell phones. The adoption curve for cell phones in the emerging markets was much higher than in the developed markets. Yeah. And the reason was that if you're in the US, you build a cellular network. So mobile phones come in. So you build, generation 1. Then after like 3 years, you say, okay, now there's generation 2. Then after another 3 years, you say, okay, there's generation 3. So now you're sitting in the US with generation 3. And 5 years have passed. And then comes generation 4. Now, if you're in the underdeveloped world, maybe you didn't build generation 1. Maybe you didn't build generation 2. But now suddenly you say, wow, there's an adoption for mobile technology. Let's build a mobile telecommunications company. What generation are you going to build? 4. Boom. Out of the box. You're going to build the latest one. You're not going to, because 4's ready. You're not going to go and build 3 or 2. Now in America, you've got 3 working, and just the switching costs to build 4, you start thinking, well, I've invested all this millions of dollars in 3. Do I build 4? So what you find is that in the underdeveloped world or the emerging markets, people went from 0 gen to 4. And in America or in Europe, suddenly they were stuck on 3. So you have a situation where if you look 10 years ago, America's got 3 and the emerging markets got 0. But if you look today, sometimes America's got 3 still, and in the emerging markets it's 4. Yeah. So that story is an analogy of how you can leapfrog when you're adopting a new technology in an emerging market. You can leapfrog the installed base of the legacy systems. So that's very exciting. I gave you the analogy from cell phones, mobile phones, but that applies very much to many of the payment technologies that are now coming into the markets. You'll be able to leapfrog and go like from 0 to like 4, boom, or to 0 to 100 in emerging markets, because in many cases the infrastructure is much weaker, and you can close that loop very quickly. So that's very exciting. So hopefully the adoption curve of the new technologies in payments that we do will be similar to the mobile phones. That was an unexpected question. Okay, so that's good, but that's your job, right? To give me unexpected questions. Okay, so let's see, 5. So I have an app for, of course, WhatsApp. Let's think about that. WhatsApp emails. That's 2. Everything to do with banking. So all my banking is online. I have a banking app. I have an app that I learn often because I try and educate myself, and I try and kind of in my spare time, not when I'm working, to just read and learn. So that's an app. That's 4. And probably the last one is around all the authentication for different securities and passwords and different accesses. But I'll tell you one thing, which is interesting. The one thing I didn't say out of the top 5, guess what? A phone. How's that? Because that's the crazy thing. Today, we have a phone, but the only thing we don't do with the phone is talk on the phone. We have all these apps, so this and that, and the Google and the Facebook and I said to you, all the stuff I said to you, but the phone, so that's how the world's changed. I don't wish I created anything. Whoever created should have been created them. But I think that the two big innovations, especially today, AI, obviously everybody can see that's crazy innovation. Before then is the internet. Before then is mobile phones. If you think about it, if you're a student of history, you can see that the world didn't change for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And then like 150 years ago, the Industrial Revolution, and then suddenly there's cars. But then again, what we lived through in our lives, when I was a kid at least, I'm older, we had landlines, right? And now suddenly we have mobile phones and access to the whole world. And now suddenly we have AI. So the changes are just amazing. But I'm just, just another guy trying to take advantage of all the different changes. I'm not the guy who invents it.